Rise and shine, Montclair. It is Tuesday, June 29th, and I hope you guys are all having a fantastic morning so far. My name is Sabrina Hajsok, and you're listening to the Summer Morning Buzz on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I am joined here today with my co-host
Kyle Pepitone filling in for Daji today.
And newscaster
Issa Winek, coming to you as always.
All right, how are you guys doing this morning?
Pretty good. A little tired, but I'm good.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too. I had my cup of coffee. I'm feeling ready for the show. What about you, Issa?
Oh, pretty well. A lot of energy today, so I'm quite excited.
That's fantastic. I'm happy someone came on with some energy. All right, Issa, let's kick this show off with our newscast. Take it away.
Of course, like mentioned earlier, but now mentioned once again, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I'm Issa Winek with today's news update. For local New Jersey news, reported by News 12, it was announced that masks will no longer be mandatory in New Jersey schools in the upcoming academic year. Governor Phil Murphy said that the change depends on there not being any quote-unquote dramatic deterioration in coronavirus trends during the summer. But guidance from the State Department of Education states that school districts can make their own decision to require masks on their own, of course. Students will be required to wear masks on school buses, however, in according to guidelines from the CDC and on wearing masks due to them attending mass transit. For United States news, according to the BBC, the e-cigarette maker Juul has agreed to settle a lawsuit with the U.S. state that accused the firm of marketing its products to younger people. Juul will pay $40 million to North Carolina over 6 years and will change its advertising in the region that will also be charged. The vape pen manufacturer did not, however, admit its wrongdoing as a part of the settlement. Its Attorney General Stein told the press conference that, quote, North Carolina is now the first state in the nation to hold Juul accountable for its instrumental role in creating youth vaping epidemics. They did it to teenagers across North Carolina and this country simply to make money, end quote. The company faces other similar cases brought against it by state officials, school districts, and even young people all over the US, which are still ongoing till today. For more national news, AP News states that rescuers searching for a fifth day of survivors of the Florida condo building collapse used bucket brigades and heavy machinery throughout yesterday and this morning as they worked up top a precarious mound of crumbled concrete, twisted steel, and remnants of dozens of households. Authorities said that their efforts were still a search and rescue operation, but no one has been found alive since hours after the collapse on Thursday. 2 more bodies were recovered on Monday, bringing the confirmed death total to 11. More than 150 others are still missing in the community of Surfside, just outside Miami, still being looked for by the rescuers. And finally, for media news, fresh from the Hollywood Reporter, stating that the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is slated to return to Broadway this fall, and with it, a new Broadway show format that morphs the 2-part original show experience into a single ticket performance. The reimagined show, produced by Sonia Friedman Productions and Colin Callender and Harry Potter Theatrical Productions, will begin at Broadway's Lyrical Theater in New York on November 16, 2021. Tickets will go on sale to the general public beginning July 12, 2021, so that's quite soon. The show's North American return also includes its national runs in San Francisco and Toronto, Canada, to shift to the new 1-part format, while in other areas of the world, the currently running and soon-to-return productions in Melbourne, Australia, London's West End, and Hamburg, Germany, will continue their original 2-part format as pre-pandemic. Now, as for weather in Montclair, it's going to be quite hot and sunny today with a high of 97 and a low of 76. So stay cool, you guys. Humidity will be around 51% and winds will be about 9 miles per hour. So I would say quite comfortable, and a lovely sunset at 8:32 p.m. Now this concludes our quite informative news update for today, which is June 29th, 2021. From WMSC, I'm Isa Winek, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Wow, thank you, Isa. That was a very informative and amazing newscast altogether once again. Although I did not like how you said the high will be 97 today. That's a little discouraging, not gonna lie. I am not very pleased with that weather update, but that's nothing, not your fault.
Yeah, we were talking about it last night, and it's for like the next 3 days. It's supposed to be like over 100.
Oh, don't even tell me
Well,
that.
I'm sorry. No,
I
no.
don't
It's
wanna
supposed to
know.
feel like over 100 because of
Uh,
the humidity and stuff. But hopefully, we're looking at rain like later down the week.
okay, at least that's good. Rain always cools it down.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, guys, we have a very exciting show planned for today.
Yeah.
If you stick it, if you stick until
That's
the
true.
end,
And
we even have a special interview with Russell Pape, who is actually one of the coordinators for the Ridgefield Park 4th of July parade. So stay tuned, guys. But all right, we're going to jump right into our first story, which actually was mentioned by our newscaster, Issa. But to have some updates on the collapse in Florida. So in Surfside, Florida, dozens of people still remain unaccounted for after a building collapsed Thursday morning just north of Miami Beach. Survivors were awoken around 1:30 a.m. by the fire alarms, fire debris, and shaking all around them. Authorities state that 11 people are dead. However, over 100 people still remain missing. Rescue and search teams continue to find the missing. Emergency officials are asking people to notify them if they have relatives who are unaccounted for. The cause of the tragedy is still unknown. However, new details regarding the structure continue to emerge, as it was noted in an engineering report in 2018. The 2018 report states that there were, start quote, detailed significant cracks and breaks in the concrete, end quote. An April 2021 letter from the condo's board president to residents said some damage observed in the 2018 report, such as in the garage, start quote, has gotten significantly worse. The concrete deterioration is accelerating. The roof situation has got much worse. So extensive roof repairs had to be incorporated, end quote. So I find this all to be very obviously the whole story in and of itself is so disturbing, and my heart goes out to those families that are still looking for people who are unaccounted for. That is absolutely terrible, and I'm so sorry.
Right.
But just the story overall, with the fact that they knew this years going back, that there were some issues within the structure and nothing was done about it, is the most disturbing part about this. Like, you were warned years ago, you had years to fix it, and it's like, why wasn't this fixed? Like, why did it take to this point for now everyone realizes that, oh, like, this is an issue, this is a problem?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully this, for lack of a better term, like sets an example for the future. Like if the concrete, the actual foundation of the building is starting to crack, maybe you should, try and patch that up a little bit.
Yeah, like you would think, right?
Yeah. But it all comes down to money and what people are willing to spend for. And usually they'd rather not spend it.
Yeah, and there's so many parts of this that are so heartbreaking, especially that it's like a condo. So
Yeah.
some people could have been there on vacation, having, they're starting their summer off strong, and it's like this kind of stuff happens, and it's so discouraging. And I hate reading stories like this, but it really does teach you,
Right.
even though it stinks and it's terrible and heartbreaking, it's like there's a lesson to be learned within all of this. And I mean, the fact that this happened Thursday morning and they're still looking for survivors, it
Mhm.
honestly makes me think of 9/11. How they spent, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was months still looking for survivors afterwards.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And just, it kind of brings me back to that mindset. Not to say that I was in that mindset during that time, because I was only a few months old, but it really reminds me of those times.
Right.
would have to definitely agree that when it comes to this is a very similar situation. It's a very tragic situation. And I feel yet again, it reminds us that such simple things like looking at the fundamentals and how it's built and just like addressing those issues early on is so important. Just like many times people who are like, I would say in ownership positions or of such things or making big decisions, often when they neglect maybe such things that they deem insignificant, like cracks, breaks in the concrete, it's fine, that it's actually not fine because it could cost human lives in the end. Like whoever made these decisions, I don't want to call anyone out, but like now probably thinks back and regrets what they have done. Like if we all just think about it, it reminds us how important is it to fix these little problems. And this doesn't apply just to the situation in general in life. Like we can't just throw things under the rug, or else it could come back in a much worse way. And yeah, that's just once again, yeah, I'm very sorry, and I really wish that all those families find peace and comfort in the coming days, and that hopefully something good will come out of this situation.
Yeah, and I'm a very like optimistic person, and I hope that like, you know, if there's still people who are in there, I'm praying for them. Like I hope that they make it out safe and sound, and I hope that all those people who have been searching these past few days find them. Like my hearts go out to them once again. But moving on to some COVID related news in New Jersey, Kyle, will you take it away?
All right. So, according to NJ.com and ISA from earlier, New Jersey will no longer require students to wear masks at the beginning of the next academic year. Rather, each school district will decide if their students will or will not wear the mask in class on a school or district basis. However, Governor Murphy stressed that this decision relies heavily on the fact that there is no dramatic, or heavily on the chance that there is no dramatic change or decline with COVID in the next few months between now and the next academic year in September. Additionally, schools are no longer allowed to offer remote learning sessions, meaning classes will be fully in person come September. Murphy stated, quote, "After a school year where the majority of our students spent significant time learning remotely, the upcoming school year will see a return to normal. Officials have stated that masks will still be required on school buses, though, as it is part of mass transit. And Murphy has stated that it is not unlikely that these rules could change come September as the state nears the cold and flu season. And currently, New Jersey has reported 105 new cases of COVID and 4 deaths, and almost 5 million people have been fully vaccinated in the state."
All right. Okay. I feel like we're all gonna have like our own mixed opinions on this whole situation. Once again, our opinions do not reflect the opinions of the station. For me, I personally believe like if you are requiring your every student to get the vaccine, and obviously they all get it, then I feel like it's perfectly fine to not require masks, in my opinion. However, if you're not requiring schools to get vaccinated, personally, I would believe that then I would encourage masks to at least be worn throughout the next school year. What do you guys think?
Well, I have a question. Like, is this enacted now? Do I still have to wear this? Because I'm very unclear on the rules. I just found out like gloves weren't a thing since like Vinyl Thon. And so
I think honestly, I think there's a lot of like miscommunication going on right now because so many new things are happening every single
Right.
day. Like the numbers with the vaccinated keep getting higher, and like, bro, I honestly don't know, Kyle. I'm not 100% sure. We need to have an SMT meeting to discuss some of these rules.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. I say that because I remember when Murphy officially announced that you no longer have to wear a mask outside, and it wasn't until a couple days later that Montclair announced you don't have to wear the mask outside. So that's why I'm still wary about wearing it inside, because although Murphy has said it, I don't know if this school, Montclair, is going off of their own calendar per se.
I mean, judging from the previous research that I have just made, just following Murphy on like releasing all these things and these new guidelines, I am aware that when they do announce that like, oh, masks don't have to be worn here or here, they often say that it's up to the institution, the school,
Right.
the location, or the store to also determine that, because I remember even when masks were no longer required in certain stores, I know I was often informed like before coming in that like some places still wanted to wear masks. So I feel it's very individual and it's always good to ask, but just in case if you don't know, it's good to be safe. You don't want to argue, you don't want to like miscommunicate with someone. There are still people who are scared. So I just go with that. I respect that.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll always walk into like a store like Target or something, mask ready and stuff, and I'll just do a quick look around when I walk in, see if anyone's not wearing it, and then to know if the coast is clear or not.
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of places really aren't being that clear. Like some places don't have a sign or anything, so it's like, oh, like I like the stores to say like, oh, like you masks are optional if you are fully vaccinated. Like I
Right.
like that. That's nice and clear, so right away I know. But as someone who's like door dashing and like going around from store to store, I find it to be very unclear. Some places are not putting any signs out, some places are. And then it's like obviously you don't want to disrespect what the store wants, but like if you don't know, you don't know. So if I see no sign, I kind of assume, okay, you're following Murphy's point of view and just,
Murphy,
masks are
CDC, yeah, all
optional.
that.
Yeah, so it's a little confusing and perplexing, honestly.
Right.
But this is overall good news. I mean, I like to see that the cases are going down, the deaths are continuing to go down as well. More people are being vaccinated. So I feel like New Jersey is going strong right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with what you were saying before, how like, because we've seen in the past few months, we've seen like a lot of schools, a lot of colleges too, say like, hey, students are required to get the vaccine, or students have the option to get the vaccine before the next academic year. And Montclair being on the side of it being required, I would think if they're requiring that, there's no reason to require the mask. They can encourage it because even in the NewJersey.com article, NJ.com article, it said people who feel safer wearing masks can do so because, why would they disallow that? But I think for schools like Rutgers and Montclair that said, hey, if you want to come back next year, you have to be vaccinated, it just makes no sense to require the mask because if the vaccine does work, then why would you need the mask?
Yeah,
That's my reasoning.
the only thing I feel like the CDC is a little uncertain of is with the vaccine, can you still transmit COVID? That's the only thing that they're still, I believe, a little wishy washy about,
Right.
that the tests aren't set in stone with yet. So that's the only reason why I would say, like, if they did still require us to wear masks, that's what I would believe it would be for. But yeah, Montclair has not released whether or not they're still requiring it. And we got to remember, like, yes, like we have a bunch of students who live on campus, but there are still so many commuters. I mean, I'll be commuting next year, but like thankfully everyone in my family has been vaccinated, so like I don't have to worry about that. But there probably are still many families with or students who live with their families and maybe elderly grandparents who might not be vaccinated too, and it's like you wouldn't want to by accident like transmit it even if you are vaccinated, because like that's something that we don't know as a fact yet.
That is true. And even not just with the elderly people, but like the immunocompromised, we really have to protect them because recent studies have shown like in people whose immune systems are less than ideal, for example, those with HIV, it's shown that if they're infected with COVID, it can go through the steps of creating mutations of it. So in this NPR article, it showed research from a bunch of different tests, and in one woman who had HIV but wasn't like taking medicine to like control it, when she got COVID, they said like it went through the steps of creating mutations and like all the variants we're starting to see. It just happened while she was infected with COVID in like the 7 months it took her body to overcome it. So like the whole point of the research and this article is like, if we don't want more strands, we really need to protect the immunocompromised more than anything, which I think just the science side behind it, that like just one person can be infected with this disease and just start creating variants just like that is, I'm not going to say amazing because that's not the right word, but from a biological standpoint, it's absurd.
No.
I would say, yeah, it's very strange how this virus just keeps mutating and just causing more dangers. It's like as if we got over one hurdle, but yet there's so many other things coming up with these like new studies that are being shown. And it's just strange because we don't know what to expect from it. This isn't like I would say this isn't something similar to what happened a few years ago with the swine flu, the bird flu, or different kinds of illnesses that's been out there. So it's important just like to be wary, to be aware of what's going on, and just to be cautious.
Yeah, for sure. And like to not forget that we are still in a pandemic, even though it's getting better for us here in New Jersey. But I'm really curious to see what ends up happening for next school year. Because, like, as you said, Kyle, at Montclair, we required everyone to get the vaccine. There are a lot of other big universities in the United States. Like, my best friend, she goes to Temple University, and that's like over 40,000 students. But they're not requiring everyone to get vaccinated. So it's like in that case, like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of outbreak or like you don't know what's going to happen, but at least I am happy with Montclair that they are requiring people to get vaccines.
Right.
My own personal opinion, I think that's for the best, and hopefully masks will be optional, because it's crazy to think though too, like before the pandemic, people used to wear masks. Like not a lot of people, but you would occasionally see people around campus wearing a mask, and like at the time we were like, or at least in my head I was like, oh, like why are they wearing a mask? You know, like that's so weird. Like not thinking badly of it, just like oh, like I wonder, like
curiosity, yeah.
You know? And then to think that like this happened and then we were all wearing masks and now it's like weird for us not to be wearing a mask. It's just so crazy how like within 2 years our complete perception of masks has altered.
I would say, yeah, not only that, but like our general beliefs and like what our society holds as norms. I would say now there's so many changes. Like at first, if you saw someone not wearing a mask in a store, there would be mass panic. Like I've seen this once. I witnessed that a lady once came into the store without a mask. She just completely forgot, and everyone was like, "Oh, put on your mask, put on your mask!" Like as if seemed like if she stole something or if she took out a gun. I'm sorry, I don't mean to like say it was that violent, but it was a terrifying scene. But she was just not wearing a mask, and now everyone's not wearing a mask. And it just seems that like these norms are constantly changing, and like once people panic, now everyone finds it normal. Earlier, like people wanted every surface sanitized, then everyone wanted a social distance. Like I feel in the end, we all have to remember that it's just a game of working together, because no matter what happens, we're still here, we're still around each other, and hopefully we're all safe and we're all healthy. Just like we have to remember that we have to work together on this. Like some people maybe aren't as informed as others because not everyone has, I would say, as much of an access to media, or not everyone follows the media as accordingly. But it's just important to be aware and just to help each other out with this, not to like in a way demonize each other, because because it's a virus, people are scared of one another physically.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, preach. That was great. So we got to work together as a team. We're all in this together, as High School Musical once said.
Yeah, I do think in the last, what was it, like 16 months? So March to June, that's 12. April, May. Yeah, like 16-ish months, 15, 16 months. We've definitely gone from being scared of other people to the best word I can think of right now is more wary of other people. Like we're not terrified to be next to somebody. I mean, just yesterday during the evening buzz, we had a workshop and we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 people in the studio, all just like not hanging out, but like being part of the show. And, you know, like me and Patrina were over Zoom, but Kenny and then a bunch of high schoolers incoming freshmen were here. And they were like, we were doing what we're doing now with lighter stories. And Kenny's over here like, hey, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? On all 3 guest mics. And so that would not have been allowed a year ago. Mm-hmm. That you would be crazy to even suggest something like that. In fact, we barely had any live content a year ago when this first hit. And now, come September, me and my head producer, Kenny Horn, are looking to get back into the way the Morning Buzz was pre-pandemic, all in person and 2 hours long instead of one. And, we're working on a plan for that, but we got to, first of all, we're both new to the position. Neither of us have been in charge of the Buzz before the pandemic. We both joined these positions during the pandemic time. And so not only do we have to, plan everything out, we have to also know the difference between a Zoom call and having people in person, because I can see both of you right now. There's like 6 monitors here. I can barely see the chairs in front of me.
I was gonna say, you tell me about that, Kyle, transitioning from going to Zoom in person, because as for those of you who don't know, I'm the WMSC's office manager, and I'm going on my 4th semester of being on the student management team, and I first started my position in March of 2020. So I literally have spent the entire pandemic in this position and only during the pandemic. So I haven't even been in person. And I'm in charge of planning events and stuff and fundraisers. And I haven't had the opportunity to learn how to do this in person, which is kind of that's a lot of work. Cause at least for me, I board opt, I was part of the radio station before the pandemic started. So I was board trained and all that. But doing this other stuff and just it's stressful. It really is. It's definitely great that we're going back to being in person, but a lot of stress comes along with that. And especially because you were taught this foreign language, the Zoom language, for so many months now.
Yeah.
It's how do I transition out of that? And part of me is I still want to implement some Zoom things now, because I've learned all these great skills through Zoom and how efficient and effective it can be. So might as well keep it going a little bit, but then add some in person back in,
Right.
and have a little Zoom and a little mix of both, because might as well now, really. We have this whole new platform. But
definitely.
Anyways, when we get back, we will kick off the second half of the show with some thrilling dinosaur and hot dog news. If you stay tuned till the very end of today's show, you will even get to hear a never-before-aired interview with Ridgefield Park 4th of July coordinator Russ Pape. We'll be right back on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. All right, we are back on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Moving into some more positive stories, there are more dinosaur attractions coming to New Jersey. Woohoo! Yes, we love dinosaur attractions. A drive-through dino safari is headed to the Westfield Garden State Plaza with at least 40 animatronic dinosaurs. With an audio tour, visitors can expect some dinosaur facts, an earthquake, a scavenger hunt, and a storyline involving a baby dinosaur. Another dinosaur attraction is the Expedition Dino, which is an addition to the Six Flags Wild Safari drive-thru adventure that runs through September 7th. These are just a few of the many dinosaur attractions on the East Coast. Okay, I'm liking this. As a fellow Jurassic Park fan, I can honestly say the more dinosaurs, the merrier. What do you guys think? You liking this?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what you said, because you said you're a Jurassic Park fan, yet you're advocating for more dinosaurs. I don't know if those two go hand in hand.
I mean, you know what I mean, Kyle. Jurassic Park is just such a quality. I love the classic movie. The new ones are good, but I'm talking about, the original.
Nothing beats the original, yeah.
Yeah.
Beats it. And I don't know. I personally think that dinosaur related attractions are cool. I haven't been to many in my life, I will say that much. But I remember I went on a dinosaur ride back in Disney World when I was a little kid, and it was terrifying. I don't know if any of you guys know what I'm talking about, but there's a dinosaur ride in Disney World where you you're in a car and you go through, and the dinosaurs are roaring at you, and It's pretty scary.
I know
don't
what
kn-
you're talking about. Yeah, I actually remember that ride. I actually went on it when I was about 14, and it was scary. It was fun, but it was a very thrilling. Like there
Yes.
was so much tension, and it was very realistic. I remember that ride.
Me
Which one is it? It's Animal Kingdom, right? That it's in?
Yes.
I mean, where else would it be? But
too, honestly.
yeah, so I went to Florida a couple of years ago. I forget how many. But yeah, I do remember that ride. That was fun. I thought it was Universal at first, but no, you're right. It's Disney. And I probably would have been terrified of that too had I gone when I was younger, maybe single digits. But yeah, it was fun. And I don't know if this one's going to be like that. This one seems like more of an opener, more of an open area kind of thing. Like you walk around and choose where you want to go.
Well, I mean, it depends which one we're talking about, because the
Right.
first one I mentioned is the drive-through Dino Safari. So I assume you just drive through it and you could play the audio tour and you'll probably see stuff going on around you. The other one is part of the Six Flags Wild Safari Adventure. So that's
Right.
also a drive-through. So you're in like the group with a bunch of people in that car. You
Right.
don't
Yeah.
have the safari car, and like you go through the I guess you'll probably see other animals, I'm assuming, then too, because
Yeah.
it's part of the safari. So that's like a good mix of like both things. But do you think these attractions are just aimed towards kids? Would you guys personally attend these?
Yes.
Personally, yes, definitely, because there's such unique ways now people find to entertain us and to just bring these awesome experiences to us. And to have like animatronic dinosaurs like be there and everything, it's so cool. It's life size. It's almost fantastical because yeah, this isn't like possible because dinosaurs don't exist anymore because they died.
Wait,
But
what?
like,
They don't-
sorry?
I was like, what? They
Yeah,
don't-
unfortunately, I mean,
Unfortunately.
well, fortunately in this case, but we can't see them. We can't study them now. Like, it's just, it's bad. Well, it's good that they're extinct, but I don't want to say that because I don't know, I feel it's rude. But I feel it's fun that we could still kind of see them in a safe manner. And
Right.
it's almost like a childhood dream. But in my opinion, this is just me. I never was a big dinosaur person, even though I would definitely go to see this attraction because it sounds so fun and exciting. I was always a dragon girl. Like I always loved to see dragons, like all those fantastical creatures, and I would be very excited for that. This is still pretty exciting, and I would definitely be up to go down because it's so close to us, especially here in New Jersey. But like if you told me they had like animatronic dragons that are like huge and life size, I would be there like every day.
When you say
Literally.
Dragon Tail, I'm thinking like what kind of like show inspired you to be like a dragon fan? Like, are you talking about Dragon Tales? Because like I used to watch that as a kid too, and then there was like Dragon Ball Z Kai. I don't even know what that was about, but I know.
That one, no, that one's not really dragons.
Oh, that's such a ripoff then, because like why would you have the word dragon?
Well, I mean, a dragon is a very quintessential part of the plot, but it's not like Dragon Tales where all the characters are dragons.
That was a quality show though, Dragon Tales.
Yes.
Oh my, for me it was, I guess, honestly, this might sound very strange, but I was never like a TV show girl. I was more like I would read books about dragons, like from Polish mythology, and that inspired me. I would say the film How to Train Your Dragon inspired me, and then the Game of Thrones franchise just really made me like the concept of. I always like the concept of them and their historical like Renaissance-y appearance. So
Right.
and I would always read a bunch of legends when I was younger. So that's what probably inspired me. But I don't know, it was always something there about it.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Now I'm thinking about How to Train Your Dragon. I love that movie. But anyways, I digress. Before we move on to our last story, I just want to go around the room and ask you guys, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, okay. I'll go first. So recently I was reading about this dinosaur. I forget when it existed, but it was mostly blind. It was called something like the Do You Think He Saw Us? It's
Oh.
no, never mind. It was a bad joke. Favorite dinosaur? I don't know too many, but I'm gonna go with the classic T-Rex.
T-Rex? Okay, cool. Sorry, I wasn't even ready for that joke, Kyle. I thought you were being serious for a second, and I was just like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's see, because there's so many absurdly named ones that could be one.
We're having such a serious dinosaur conversation. You just see that in there. It like flew right over my head, bro.
Sorry, I apologize.
What's your
Issa,
favorite?
what about you?
I would have to say, I would have to say the Velociraptor.
Oh,
And that one is the if not a lot of people are familiar with the Velociraptor, they're the small dinosaurs. I believe in the Jurassic World in the second one. They're throughout the Jurassic World series. They're this almost like smaller T-Rexes, and what I like about them is that they're fast and they know how to teamwork very well. And apparently, they were very intelligent. So even though like they said they had very little brains, they were still like they knew how to communicate with one another. They knew how to outsmart people in a team. So I found that was impressive. That even though they were small, they were able to do a lot of damage, or they were really able to work together and really get far.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that is impressive. See, I like the ones with the long necks.
Brachiosaurus?
Yes, the Brontosaurus. I looked it up. I was like, long neck dinosaur. But yeah, no, I like them. I forget, there were some movies that I used to watch. What was it called? Have you guys ever seen those movies about like the cartoon dinosaurs?
Land Before Time?
Yes, 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 The Land Before Time. I used to love those movies, and I have like a bunch of the videos of them. But yeah, all right, Kyle. Why don't you finish us out with our last story for today?
All right. So before we go into our interview, we are looking at NJ.com again. And after winning the annual 4th of July hot dog eating contest in Coney Island in 2018, Renee Rovtar and her daughter, Christina Rovtar Dunn, are getting ready for round 2. This year will be Renee's 5th year in a row competing and Christina's 2nd time. To them, this isn't a contest about winning. Renee said, we're best, quote, we're best friends, so to have this opportunity to do this together is wonderful, end quote. This year, Renee is aiming to eat 10 hot dogs in 10 minutes, while Christina is aiming for 8. I, for one, am not a fan of hot dogs to begin with, much less speed eating, so I could maybe do 1.5.
I'm like, me too.
My question for this is, how do you practice this? Do you just go home and just say, okay, once a week, I am eating like 10 hot dogs really fast. Someone time me. And then you're like, okay, I have a stomach ache for the rest of the day. Like, for me, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say as a Polish person, I don't want to be stereotypical, but like, I feel like with my approach to food, I'd rather sit down and enjoy my meal with my family instead of just shoving it all in my face. Like for me, this is a strange type of race.
Well, that's the thing. They eat it differently. I forget if it was Renee or Christina, but they said something along the lines of, you're not eating these hot dogs like you would at a backyard barbecue. What they do apparently is you separate the hot dog itself from the bun, dip the hot dog in the water to, I guess, like soften it up and make it easier to eat. And you just rinse and repeat that process, which is, I don't know. It's not something that appeals to me.
No,
personally.
Definitely not. Like, if I'm gonna have a hot dog, I want the bun, I want some ketchup or mustard, like, I want to enjoy it. And, like, when I eat a hot dog, I can't think about it too much. Because if you actually know what's in a hot dog, I'm sure no one would actually want to eat a hot dog if you read what's actually in it beforehand, which we're not gonna get into because it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I think hot dogs taste good, but I just don't see the appeal in, like, doing that, especially dipping it in the water, like right there in of itself. I feel like I would gag a little, and just the idea of shoving it into my mouth. I feel like honestly, this is like one of those things that people do just for, I mean, you could hate me for saying this, but just for fame. Like, I just don't see any good reason why people would want to do this. Like, really,
Well,
like, benefit is there.
Sabrina, unfortunately, I have to share a small story about this. Some people just have interesting tendencies. Like my sister, when she was about 6 years old, being a Polish person, we love to make pierogis at home, and it's always a delicacy. They take a long time, but they're amazing, and they're just so scrumptious and good. And once me and my sister were eating a lot of them, and then we went to the store, and then we came back. My sister said she wasn't feeling well. unfortunately, she threw up, and she threw up a whole this big, like huge, like the size of my fist,
Oh.
pierogi that she swallowed. So I'm not sure where did that come from. I'm not sure that she wanted to enter such a contest in the future, and she was subconsciously preparing for it when she was younger.
Maybe.
But I'm
Wow.
serious. This actually happened.
All right.
And I was terrified, and for me, just like that the aspect of just swallowing food just takes me back to questioning why my sister did such a thing at such a young age.
All right. I can
That's a personal story.
a story to end our show with today. Up next, we have an interview with Russell Papai, who is the organizer for the Ridgefield Park 4th of July Parade. You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I am Sabrina. And Kyle.
Oh,
and
yes.
I'm here with.
I'm Kyle, and we will be back at the end for a quick little outro. But now, here is the interview.
Sabrina Hajsok.
And we would like to ask you several questions. First, we wanted to ask, what's your role in organizing the Ridgefield Park 4th of July Parade?
All right. Well, since 1999, so this is my 23rd parade. I volunteer my time for my community to organize, plan, supervise, and stage the best parade in New Jersey, if not in the country. My title is Civic Parade Chairman, but I'm one member of about 24 people in the community who do the same, who volunteer their time to help us celebrate our nation's independence. It's a tradition going back since 1894. We've done this consecutively, year by year by year. So we lay claim to being the longest running parade in New Jersey, the longest running 4th of July celebration in New Jersey, and we're up in the top 5 in the nation. So it's something our community takes a lot of pride in.
Wow, that's so exciting, especially because it's been going on for so long and you were one of the founders of this. Am I correct?
Well, I'm carrying on from what my predecessors did. I certainly wasn't around in 1894.
Oh my gosh, wait.
This is 127 years, not just 27.
I think I misheard what the year you said. I thought you said, okay. Never mind.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I grew up in town. I grew up in Ridgefield Park, a couple of blocks from Main Street. And as a little boy, I distinctly remember sitting on the curb on Main Street and watching this wonderful parade come by. The fire trucks, the police department, the high school band, the school floats, the circus clowns, the antique cars, the marching bands. And it was just such a thrill to have such a party out in the summer with all my friends and family. When it came time for me to think about what I can do for the community, I wanted to make sure the kids nowadays have the same kind of memories that I do, the same fond memories of just feeling a part of not only Ridgefield Park, but of the country and of the world. It's a community event. And like I said, we volunteer our time. We meet just about, well, I start planning the next parade the day after this parade. So it's
Wow.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's my way of giving back to Ridgefield Park that has been so good to me, that has not only given me a good education, but have kept the streets safe. And it's a debt of gratitude I owe to my parents for raising me here in such a wonderful small town America. We're so close to the big bad city, New York. We're about 5 miles west of the George Washington Bridge, but we're not exactly Mayberry RFD, but it's small town enough where I always think about the old-fashioned Saturday Evening Post covers that Norman Rockwell painted of small town America. You can still go into the barber shop and just sit around and talk. You can run a tab at the local hardware store and get to know people on a first name basis. That's important, and it's something that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world.
I love that. That's really nice. I was gonna ask, because the pandemic had been happening, were you planning then for a good year and a half? Because I know last year a lot of things got canceled.
Oh, we went on. We did not interrupt last year. It was an abbreviated version. We decided to put on a parade dedicated to our frontline workers that live in the village, healthcare and first responders, and the people in necessary businesses, the essential businesses that stayed open, and as well as our emergency service workers. We had everybody in vehicles. We actually extended the parade route last year so people would be able to have social distancing. So we did not interrupt our streak. We went on. And this year, since June 4th, Governor Murphy had kind of given us carte blanche to open things up. The mask mandate has been lifted, so it's an option for people if they want to wear a mask or not. And there are no restrictions on public gatherings as far as the number of people. So we're going full bore, and I think we're going to have a bigger and better parade this year than we've ever had.
That is fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that you guys pushed through and it still went on despite everything that was going on. That is absolutely, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
It does. It really does. All right. But what have been some of your greatest challenges when it comes every year to organizing the parade?
Oh, gosh, let's see. I know every year it gets a little bit easier because I can try and anticipate things that come up.
I mean, except for last year, though, but.
Well, last year we had to scramble a little bit more than usual, but we still pulled through.
You did.
My challenges, I don't know. I've been doing this, like I said, 23 years running now, and I've established a relationship not only with the village leaders politically and the police department, the fire department, the ambulance corps, the rescue squad, most of the civic organizations in town, as well as we have out-of-towners come by to provide us with a little extra oomph on the parade. I'm talking about marching bands and clowns and jugglers and different veterans groups. I've come to get the relationship going, and year by year, I don't even have to reach out to them. They want to come to me and say, "We're going again this year, aren't we?" And I say, "Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are." So it's not much of a challenge each year, and it's more of a responsibility that I take pretty seriously. I think in order to keep Richfield Park the way it is, this tradition has to go on, because it's just, as I said, it's a highlight that I remember as a child. And maybe, just maybe, there's a kid sitting on the curb on Main Street that would want this position when I decide to hang up my Uncle Sam hat, so to speak.
Oh.
Would you happen to say that that's part of your favorite experience in terms of connecting with more and more people of your community to create something everlasting?
I think it gives me a thrill. It gives me a great thrill. I mean, went to school here. I was in the Boy Scouts here. I was, worked on a hardware store on Main Street as a teenager, and I played midget football here. And it's a sense of community that I think a lot of people don't have. That for whatever reason, they don't connect with the community. They don't have that sense of village pride that is so evident here in Richfield Park. If you've never been to Richfield Park on the 4th of July, I would strongly recommend it. We have activities ranging from 7 o'clock in the morning until after 10 o'clock at night. We start the day 7 o'clock a.m. with the Boy Scouts help raise our official flag. and we have the singing of the national anthem. And that's followed at 8 o'clock, where all the fire companies in town, there are 6 fire companies, they have an annual inspection from out of town judges, just with their equipment, their uniforms, and making sure everything is in working order. That's followed at 9 o'clock by a baby and youth parade for the youngsters, where we have decorated carriages, strollers, bicycles, and little floats, just a parade for the little ones to get them involved. The honor students are prominently featured in our from all our elementary and high school. And after that, at 9 o'clock, let's see what happens. Oh yes, we have a civic parade at 11:30. We start that off. It's about a little bit over a mile route, wending its way through town, which is patriotically decorated from stem to stern, red, white, and blue, stars and stripes everywhere you turn. There's usually maybe 2,000 people within the parade, and we get a good crowd, about, I'd say, anywhere from 10 to 15,000 people watching the parade. So it's really an exciting day for us. And after that, the afternoon is dedicated to family. We have, you can just smell the barbecue anywhere you walk in town. People are in the backyards having a little fun and going swimming, and out of town people you haven't seen for years come by every year to enjoy it. I see my Scoutmaster from when I was a kid every year. How cool is that? How cool. I see my football and baseball coaches every year. They come back. And this year, the Rotary Club is sponsoring a fireworks display at 9:30 in the evening down at Veterans Park. That's on the east end of town. Free admission. A free fireworks display is nothing to sneeze at. It's a thrill. And that's how we wind up our day in Ridgefield Park.
I love that. What do you think has been your best memory over the past few years?
Oh, gosh.
Here's one.
You know, I think my best memory just gets topped every year. I get the most thrill out of seeing kids having a good time. You know, seeing them jumping and dancing to the music and just running up and giving the clown a hug, or meeting the mayor, their eyes get this big, and it's a thrill to me. Again, it harkens back to my memories of town, of what makes Ridgefield Park Ridgefield Park. I think it's the only place to be on the 4th of July.
I love that.
How exactly do you say you deal with or you cope with managing the people and the many tasks one goes through to have a successful parade? And on top of that, are there years that you prefer more than others that you think are the best? Each year, does it become better? Like,
that's a great question. I don't know if that's putting me on the spot or not. As the chairman, I try to improve year by year. I try to bring a little bit more variety into the parade every year. So I do definitely try and make it better for everyone. I try to be all inclusive. I try to make sure that anybody that asks if they can be in the parade, absolutely, you're in the parade. Santa Claus is coming this year. That's pretty
Now I
neat.
have to go.
Christmas in July. Yeah. This year I have a new group coming by. It's an all-female drum line from Queens, New York. They're called Fogo Azul. New York City, it's a bateria. It's a drum line, a Brazilian drum line. There's about 50 or 75 members that are promised to come by. So they're going to give us a little extra pizzazz. So I'm excited about that. Now, going back to when I was a child, I do remember 1976 being extra special because it was the bicentennial. There was a lot of different things going on throughout the country, but in Richfield Park, that was my home. That was where I was going to be. Another big year, I think, was in, 1984. That was 300 years since the town was founded. So it was our tercentennial. And I remember we had a blast. We just had a blast. And yeah, it's, I just can't help, my cheeks hurt so much because I smile whenever I talk about Independence Day and the 4th of July.
And just to clarify, so when is the parade? I know you said the 4th of July, I'm assuming, right?
Actually, I say the 4th of July, but the parade is on the 5th this year.
Okay.
Day, July the 5th, that's 2021, because, well, that's the federal holiday. And that goes back again. We're about tradition in Richfield Park. It's always been when the 4th falls on a Sunday, we celebrate it on the 5th. Kind of, we leave Sunday to God, and then we have a parade on Monday. And
it starts, you said, at 7 a.m. and ends at 10 p.m., right?
All the village activities. Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful day. If you'd like more information, you can check out www.ridgefieldpark.org. All one word, RIDGEFIELDPARK.org.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting day, that's for sure. I'm like, I need to put it in my like bucket list of things I need to do within my time here, because that sounds like a fantastic parade.
You're more than welcome to come by and tell your friends, tell your family, this is the place to be.
I will.
It's on the signs coming in and out of town where it says, "Welcome to Richfield Park." A few years back, we had a little addendum put onto that sign, and it says, "The only place to be on the 4th of July." And that's up year round, so people are reminded.
Well, it has been awesome getting to know you, and also thank you for including us and letting us know about what your community does for the 4th of July. Again, my name is Anandaji and Sabrina, and we're here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. My name is Anandaji, and I'm here.
All right. And this concludes our episode of the Morning Buzz.
Yes.
Yes. And
I mean, that was really interesting. I love that.
No, it was. And Russ seems like such a sweet guy. Like, he was such a pleasure to talk to, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I would have loved to have been on that interview.
Oh my gosh, right? No, he was great. But anyways, this concludes our episode for today. You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I am Sabrina.
And I am Kyle, and we are here with our newscaster as well, Isa Winek. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.